Yes!
Rumors and rumblings.
That's awesome!
Let the filibustering begin.
All right, man, fam, time to round up some movie news, rumors, and rumblings. It's been a while. Happy summer. Hope everyone's enjoying the summer movie season. I know I am. Counting down the hours, fellas, until Fast X gets here.
Family's back.
My tent is set up. I'm going to go there after this. I've got a little barbecue with some Coronas set up. So if anyone wants to stop by the movie tavern for the next 4 days, we'll be hanging, tailgating, and hanging with family, you know.
Tell me about your father, O Garrison.
Very excited for that. Very excited for this episode. A lot to dig into because I don't know if you've heard, but the writers are now on strike, fellas.
Yep. I'm not going to pre-write any of my jokes for this podcast. You guys know I do a lot of prep.
We're riffing completely. No prep was done. We're in solidarity, right?
Yeah, we had to let our writing staff go during this too. So it's been
we're not
rough.
paying those salaries and no scabs either. But instead, we're just going to riff. Just let it fly, which is very uncomfortable for us because, once again, I cannot reiterate this enough. We do a ton of prep.
Right. Can you imagine if this show had writers? Like the stupidest. We've just been doing the same bit.
Just a guy with like a legal pad. He's like, Richard, I think you should make this the same.
What if you
Bruce
guys joke
Valanche
about Now You See
movie
Me?
podcast over here, just cranking out the same Now You See Me jokes
Yeah,
over and over.
Richard, suggest Lettier again whenever they prompt you on a great director. That would be funny.
The fans love it.
We've been in a conference room all day trying to figure out who would be the funniest director to reference, and I think Lettier is the move again. So do
writing
that.
on
I'm
the
like,
windows like a beautiful.
I'm just like a
line.
weird robot. I'm just, okay, if you say so.
I'm very okay with this strike right now, oddly.
Yeah, look,
I remember being
this
very
is good.
upset about it in 2007. The writers deserve a renegotiation. Basically, what's happening is streaming's taking over the media business, and writers aren't really getting compensated as such because most of their stuff is residuals and traditional rerun on traditional TV, which, let's face it, it's not really thriving right now. And so, yeah, renegotiation for them. These are the people that create the content that we love, that come up with the ideas, that write the dialogue, that really do the hardest work, in my opinion, in the, film entertainment business are the writers. There's writers all across the business, not just in movies, TV, wrestling. I don't know how many industries the Writers Guild crosses over into, but it's a lot. And
NFL.
And it's, of course, they need to rewrite that script, though. They've needed new writers for a long time. The thing about it is, though, I'm totally fine in 2023 with where we are in the streaming world, with how much stuff already there is out to watch that I haven't gotten to. And I try to watch stuff almost every day, try to, ingest something new for 30 minutes a day into my life. There's so much that I haven't gotten to that I can wait years for the next House of the Dragon season or whatever Mandalorian has to be produced, whatever it is. I can wait years for that. To me, what needs to be done is take care of these people we'll figure the rest out down the road. So for anyone complaining, like, where the heck is my Euphoria teaser trailer or whatever it is, I don't know what to tell you, but go watch something else. There's a lot out there to enjoy, and trust me, a lot of it's good. So just hold off for now. I promise everything will be fine eventually, but it's just a weird time right now. I think the one thing I miss the most, fellas, as I pass it to you, Brian, for your thoughts, is late night comedy. It's the one thing I enjoy the most on a daily basis that the writers contribute to, is this fresh daily takes on stuff. And, haven't been able to get that. So that has definitely affected my routine somewhat, not having my, Seth Meyers to watch or whatever it is. But
you mispronounced Corden. Plus Corden's gone, so you've been in mourning.
Maybe Corden's the reason for the strike. Like we gotta change things. This can't happen again.
Really is fitting that his show went off right before the writer's strike because I don't think there were writers. It was just
he wouldn't have been
a Range Rover, a camera, and a dream, and some gross food.
If there were, he couldn't tell
and
you.
Being really mean to your cameraman.
Yeah.
Brian, are you in a rush for this to get solved? Where are you at with this writer strike?
I mean, I'm very pro the Writers Guild on this because the streaming thing is a huge part of it, and it's insane that this has to be renegotiated this way, that they're not that the studios and such shockingly really like their money, and so they're not negotiating good faith up to this point. And the other part of this is AI that they're trying to legislate essentially out of any potential, at least at the moment, maybe future too, which I totally understand as well. The only downside, I mean, there's a lot of downside to all this stuff. It's just you can be very pro on the side of the union, which I am. The thing that like kind of is like, man, that's kind of a bummer is just it feels like we just now are like coming out of the COVID stuff, you know, where it's like we've had this weird 2.5 year span where we didn't have movies for a while, and then we kind of did, but not very many, and TV shows, same kind of thing. It's like it was a really long process to get kind of back on track, and it felt like we were there. And now this is not going to hit us immediately, but if this strike drags on for very long, we will have a period in essentially however long the writer's strike is, how long you'll have a bad run of TV and movies. So it's a year or 2 years down the line before you'll see that. So if this is a 6-month strike, we will have a 6-month period where we're like, man, there's a lot of crappy TV shows on right now, or whatever else. That's usually how it works. And so you know that's coming somewhere down the line for us. It's just that's kind of a bummer.
The Apprentice, man, is what I've been saying.
Yeah, bring it back. You can pick his cabinet members now. But at the same time, again, it's like, yeah, this is. I think we've all followed this a little bit, and not like super intense or anything, but it's pretty clear that there's not been a whole lot of good faith negotiations done by the studios and the bigwigs and stuff, and that should be surprising to no one, really. So, I hope they get what they are due, and I hope that it gets settled sooner rather than later, so that we can get back to making movies.
They are in a tougher spot, I would say, to Kent's point. Like, we have these enormous, easily accessible catalogs of things. Plus, you know, you can buy so many shows now and movies on like Amazon for $3.99.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I totally am aligned with there. And yeah, they've got to figure out new ways to be compensated in a post rerun world. And totally on board with striking to get that, because, you know, you're unable to negotiate without that pressure. But there's so many things I haven't seen that I will probably keep up with, you know, catch up with now, because there's not going to be new stuff. So they're in a tough spot because there's these enormous back catalogs. And I feel like unless you're our friend Adrian, who watches literally everything that's ever existed, you've got a pretty big back catalog of saying, you know what I never saw? You know, I've never seen Abbott Elementary. Okay, well, watch Abbott Elementary now. You know, like there's so many of those things. You know, it seems relatively recent. We were watching like Parks and Rec or Office and those kind of shows were on, you know, when the last writer's strike, The Office was definitely affected by that. But like the only way to watch stuff was like on your on demand of your cable. It was like super tedious. It's a different world now. So like,
sure.
As recent as that is, it's like 1,000 years ago in some ways too. So, you know, it's so much easier now for people to just not, honestly, I don't even know if my wife knows there's a writer's strike, and I don't know if she would for like 3 years.
Yeah, no.
As long as like the streamers like recircled stuff that she's never seen before onto the homepage, she would just like, she doesn't keep up with like Hollywood news like we do. It's like, she was like, oh, there's this new, you know, whatever, like that weekend show with Johnny Depp's daughter. Like if that's circled up in 9 months, my wife would be like, oh, cool new show out.
Sure.
Like she would never.
Yeah. No, there's definitely something to all of that. the real thing is going to be, I think you put something in the Discord yesterday or the day before about how much money has been lost at this point by the studios.
30 million a day.
30 million a day. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where like 30 million's kind of a drop in the bucket. 210 million's a little bit less of a drop in the bucket. You know, if that number is accurate, then that starts to get real, whether there's public pressure or not, the way that there might have been the last time that we had a writer's strike. So
yeah, they might have internal pressure of like, hey, we need to make money, but the public pressure really might not be there. They might not have people beating down the doors to get something done like they did in 2007, and that might draw this out a little bit longer. I hope not, but we'll certainly see. What do you think the reaction is going to be, though, eventually? And that is a huge part of it, Brian, the AI thing. But what do you think the reaction is going to be when there's some indie studio, Mid-Journey Studios or whatever, that comes out and says, we're releasing the first AI-generated action movie. Here's the trailer. It's coming out in October. It comes out, and it's actually pretty good. What's going to happen?
Well, I mean, what sucks is like, is that 5 steps away from what Netflix has done with most of their movies over the last couple of years. You know, I mean, it's not, we lament all the time. It's not just Netflix. Marvel, Disney sometimes does this too. Marvel, maybe especially within the Disney.
They use algorithms to make choices in what they do. Yes.
But we lament all the time about how it feels like the budget was $100 million and the stars got 40 and the cameras got 60, or 59.5, and we got like $100,000 left for the script. Should we maybe get somebody who can write a script for us? So like, I'm worried that the average viewer is not going to notice or is not gonna notice enough to care, and I think it's a terrible thing. Like I'm all the AI stuff, whether you're talking about writing or art or I don't know, whatever, term papers. I mean, like whatever else. I think it's all terrible. All of it is awful, and it's an inevitability. And I'm sure somebody listening to this will gripe at me about it later or whatever. But if you're using this stuff to like, I don't know, help you pass, get a grade, like whatever, and if you're using the, I'll say it this way, like for my other podcast, Spread the Floor, we have a negative budget. Like we don't spend any money on this thing because we don't make any money. I mean, we lose money every year, not a lot, but a little bit. We lose a little bit of money every year between, hosting, graphics, and all this stuff. We needed some new graphics done. We don't have any money to put on this right now. And so I did the Fiverr thing and just got somebody in, I don't know, I think it was like Portugal Asia or something. Yeah, to do 6 little graphics for us, and it cost me $60, something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with, I just did it, so clearly I'm fine with it. This is a zero money endeavor for us. I have no problem with the average consumer, using get stuff as cheap. It's the same as like record stores, Kent. Like you and I love record stores. I'm poor. I know you're pretty poor too. If you need to buy the thing, if you really want a record and you need to buy it on Amazon for $25 instead of going to the local store and spending $35, I get it. I try not to do that as much as I can. I try to go to the local record store, but there's times when I need to save that $10, And so I don't mind it for the individual. When you're talking about, multi-billion-dollar companies like a lot of these studios are, and that doesn't even get into like how is corporate America going to use this and stuff. I hate it. I think that it's a terrible, terrible thing. And so I'm really rooting for the writers on this because I think that it has ramifications. And by the way, I'm an idiot. So like, whatever. I don't know anything about business. Richard had to teach me how to use LinkedIn yesterday. So like, I'm rooting for the writers on many fronts, but I think that there's potentially some precedent stuff that could come out of this if they are able to get something done well. I know I've gone long, but I hate all this stuff from a corporate America standpoint. I think that we need to get ahead of not bringing this garbage in. So to your question, Kent, yeah, I worry. I worry that some crappy studio that's not even a real studio is gonna make a $2 million action movie using Chat GPT or whatever, and that it becomes, at first it's a novelty, but then it becomes like not the standard, but like this sort of thing that kind of creeps in, and if the average consumer doesn't realize, oh, that's bad, like this is crap, and it's crap because of this, and here are the people that did not get paid as a result of that. I worry about that. I'm concerned.
It's an inevitability. It's not a possibility like we heard about NFT movies or whatever, sure. Metaverse movies and all that. This is real. It's already happening in a way, but it's super easy to do, which is why it's so real. And the way that ChatGPT and Midjourney, the image software, have improved just over the past year is shocking. Sure. The image quality in Midjourney compared to when it first launched is amazing. And I was showing my wife the other day how the industry I think is going to be most disrupted quickest is the fashion industry, because I was showing her just typing in like short yellow skirt with red flowers, right? And click generate, and all the different stuff that comes up that's completely original. Like, it's going to change fashion so much, of just people coming out with their new season with ChatGPT just based on prompts of what they want their stuff to have, right? And that seems to be like the most applicable way to get like interesting designs into the market quickly with AI. So we'll see that probably really, very soon at fashion shows, things like that. But I mean, we're seeing it now. AI generated albums, AI generated TV shows. There's that Seinfeld, what's it called? AI, Seinfeld AI or something, Sign AI or something. That's just like a loop of algorithmically generated Seinfeld episodes, right? This is going to happen, and it is already happening. And I think what's going to happen is just going to be an independent studio that says, this is our bit. We do AI movies. And how disruptive will it be? I don't know. Will it be like an A24 and kind of take over things and start making money and make interesting things? I don't know. But I think it's, I don't know, in the foreseeable future. Richard, any thoughts on this before we move on to the next topic?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it is inevitable on some level. I think though now is the time to begin, legislation or ideas to keep it at bay. And so I think it's weird. It's not really like a moral choice, but it's just sort of like to keep our value of human creativity going. Hopefully there's creative steps taken now that fight against that in the future, because in a free market, it's totally inevitable. But hopefully they game that market a bit so that, we as humans have like values in our own content.
Yeah, it would feel pretty quick if like 2 years after we came out with this technology, we immediately started taking writers away, like just let the technology grow, let these people have jobs. They're still good at what they do. Maybe there will be a time and place where there aren't any good writers left and we need this technology. But for now, I think there's a lot of talented people out there that need to be compensated for such. So hopefully that is the case. Big Star Wars news, fellas, we need to quickly go over. That was announced very recently. The biggest of which was something that we had championed on the podcast when we, I guess, last left off with Rise of Skywalker. Rey is coming back. Very excited for this.
Coming back.
Because I thought Rey, Daisy Ridley, was so great in those movies.
Best part, yeah.
By far the best part. And the last one just solidified that for me. She was spectacular. I just thought there was no way they couldn't bring her back or didn't want to bring her back. She was just too good and had solidified a story in the canon of Star Wars that you can play off of. So excited to see that they'll bring her back for maybe another trilogy. Brian, what do you know about this?
Not sure if it's a trilogy or not, but yeah, I'm pumped for this. I love Rey. I mean, this pod was one of the few that was very pro all three of those sequels. which has become a hotter and hotter take by the day, crazily enough. Yeah, I think Rey's great. Daisy Ridley's great in that role. And so yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of felt like that it was an inevitability that at least some of that new cast would be coming back at some point. I'm a little surprised that it's quite as quick as it is, but I think that just results from all the, at least in part, from the kind of failed concepts that they've had that haven't gone anywhere. The Rian Johnson trilogy that's still sort of lurking out there, the Taika Waititi trilogy that's sort of lurking out there, the others that have been announced along the way. So I think this was an inevitability of like, all right, we gotta get back to what worked, at least financially, if not financially and critically. And she's great in that. So hopefully it'll bring back some of what I really liked about that trilogy.
Yeah, it'll be episode 10. I'd be surprised if they didn't try to bring Rian Johnson back for that. Like for the main trilogy. Yeah. Probably got some great ideas for his own stuff, but I'd like to see him back in Rey's world.
There has been so much there's been so much smoke with him over the years that I can't, it seems pretty clear that they want to keep him around, whether that's his own trilogy or that's a part of a trilogy or just a standalone something. I think he definitely has another movie or branch of this in him at some point with this universe. They seem to really like him and want to keep him around, and yeah, which I'm all good for, because I think, again, it's still kind of weird to me, but I like all three of those movies, some of them a lot, and it seems like you've had to either pick, you like the J.J. Abrams ones, or you like the Rian Johnson one, or you hate them all, but you're not allowed to like all three of them. And so, yeah, I'd be happy to have Rian Johnson back for more. Just have a cohesive, if you're going to do a trilogy, it's got to be a cohesive thing from start to finish. You got to have a plan. That's my major, really my only big complaint with that.
Write all three movies at once, yeah.
Yeah, or at least, the very least, let's have directors that have a cohesive vision, not that are actively writing against each other the way JJ and Rian Johnson were. Yes, that would be much preferred. By the way, rumored John Boyega is going to be involved in that Rey project as well, so might see Finn back. But I can't see how they can't do some kind of Kylo Ren something, right? At some point, maybe. I mean,
be tough to get him back, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you can bring him back. About. Yeah, his run as Kylo. I mean, there's just not a lot to prequelize that you can use. Yeah. I feel like Knights of Ren would be a great Disney Plus series. I would love to see the First Order's rise. You know, he doesn't have to be fully involved, but I think there's a lot of meat on the bone in terms of the like dark side, Empire side of the Rey trilogy that they haven't really dug into. Maybe they do that in the new film series, but yeah, I thought the First Order, the Donald Gleason's character, like dig more into that stuff. Fans love him. They buy the merch, the Halloween costumes, the whole bit. You know, I just think it'd be honestly dumb to not try to do something else with Kylo Ren down the line. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did some kind of an animated thing with Kylo Ren, maybe the Knights of Ren cool stuff. Because they do a lot of animated stuff, and Coop loves all that stuff, man. Like, does he like the Star Wars Visions, the anime one? Yeah, I Visions. Love that. Like even Young Jedi Adventures is kind of geared for a little bit younger than he is, but he still is like, man, this is pretty cool. And then, I mean, he loves Clone Wars and all that stuff. So yeah, they could definitely they could come back and do it that way. I think they've shown more ambition in the animated stuff than anything else, really. So you could do all kinds of stuff with that for sure. Yeah, they could. Man, Lucasfilm must have really been happy with this new Indiana Jones movie, because they signed James Mangold up for a Star Wars movie of his own. Yeah. Dawn of the Jedi, it's called. And it was funny when they announced this, they had a little press, like a walk-up press conference scrum afterwards with James Mangold. And he was talking to the press, and he's like, yeah, apparently it's set 25,000 years ago.
Like he just kind of got the pitch and was like, yeah, I'll do it. He doesn't really know much about it, I guess. But yeah, it's going to be the early, like the title says, Dawn of the Jedi.
And then Dawn of the Rise of the Jedi.
Dawn of the Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
The Last Jedi of Skywalker. And yeah, excited for this because, well, I mean, we finally get to see real baby Yoda this time. So yeah, I guess this indie film must be pretty good if they're willing to get in the James Mangold business.
I love
He's great,
Mangold.
so,
I'm really pumped for Indiana Jones 4, and I'm pumped for whatever he wants to do in this universe. I think it should be cool. And look, they're smart too to keep involving Dave Filoni. He really gets it, and he understands this universe really well. And I think he also understands like what the fans want, but he can do that without. How am I trying to say that? He has a really good understanding of who you should try to please as far as the fans are concerned, and who you should just say, we do not care about you, go kick rocks, you know? And that he seems like he's heavily, I mean, he's going to direct this, you haven't mentioned it yet, Kent, but he's directing this Mandalorian movie at some point, and he's so involved in all this sort of stuff, and I think he does a really great job of kind of Kevin Feigeing it a little bit and just having like, all right, here's what we're doing. Here's the vision. Here's how we're going to incorporate that without, at least at this point, it seems like without being just like a complete over the top, like Trekkie level of kind of crazy on it. So I think that he's really valuable in this whole thing and can kind of help streamline some of this stuff. Can at least help maybe alleviate like or avoid some of the problems that like we mentioned with the sequels of there not being enough A to Z from the start.
Surprised they haven't announced or signed Favreau up for a theatrical one, just so he can get that cash.
Sure,
they kind of owe it to him at this point of how well The Mandalorian is done and how many subscribers it's brought into to Disney Plus. I'm sure he's well paid, but yeah, if they could give him a few points on the back end of a theatrical release, I think that'd be a nice thank you for what you've done for Star Wars type of thing.
Sure.
Speaking of indie, Harrison Ford has said this is the final time he's playing Indiana Jones will be in this Dial of Destiny coming out here in a few weeks. I guess
I can't wait.
Not really
man.
a spoiler,
I'm so
but
excited for this movie. Gosh, I'm so excited.
Same.
Is that most anticipated for you rest of the summer?
It's that or Mission Impossible for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard not to get overly enthusiastic and anticipating on this one because it just everything looks great. It looks like it's going, and every little thing you've heard so far has all been very positive. So I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful.
Yeah, they're releasing all the Indiana Jones movies, all three, the first ones, on Disney Plus at the end of the month.
Nice.
So I guess surprised to learn that they weren't already on there, but leave it to the mouse to hold it back for the perfect time for people to get that HD Indiana Jones on before they take this one on and see Harrison Ford in the role of Indy for the last time. If this one makes good money and is well received, they're going to have a hard look at what to do with this property without Harrison Ford involved. Maybe they have a plan for that that'll be revealed in the movie, but yeah, the brand seems to be like a pretty lucrative IP at this point.
Could be.
And I wonder how much of that is tied to Harrison Ford. I saw some kind of list the other day. I don't know who did it. Some kind of polling company did like top 10. Did you see this in our Discord of like top 10 most recognized actors by like general people like right now?
Oh, yes, I did.
It's like Tom Cruise is still number one. Everybody's like
ARP
60,
magazine,
60.
basically. Yeah.
Harrison Ford's still on the list of like the top 10
Julia Roberts
actors that people still go out and see movies with. The guy's like 85 or something.
I think Chris Hemsworth was the youngest.
Will Smith is still on the list.
Yeah.
Like the dude just slapped Chris Rock.
Right.
Movie stars are a tough thing now.
The Rock was on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is amazing to me that Harrison Ford is just still so highly thought of as an action movie star.
Yeah, yeah. I was really hoping that Please Don't Destroy movie was going to hit theaters so that the Hurley boy could become a movie star, but
Peacock
it has to
only.
be Peacock.
They're going to be at Bomb Factory though, man.
I know. Interested.
Might have to.
Be a
Ken
fun
and I saw
time.
Armisen there. It was decent venue wise. So
Nice.
for that
Yeah,
kind of
it's
show,
good for
so-
comedy.
We saw a great big dog.
It's weird
there
to stand
one
and
time.
watch
That was
comedy,
cool.
but it works for certain things,
Yeah.
certain acts.
Yeah. If you get up on that top rail, you kind of get the bar seat there. That's
Yeah.
pretty solid. Yeah. Good.
Well, what's most anticipated for you, Richard, rest of the summer?
I mean, oh boy. I would say Indy's up there. If it's good, I've never seen a good Indiana Jones movie like in a theater.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a good point. Yeah.
So that is like an unknown thing. I've seen a lot of good Mission Impossible movies in theaters. So
Sure.
in terms of summer movies,
Where are
No.
we at on the anticipation level for Fast, though? Honestly, we're a few
low.
days away. Usually we're really excited for
Wow.
these. How would you rank your excitement compared to like when we went to see Fate of the Furious, right?
1/10 of 1%.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I care. I mean, it'll be fine, but it's Lettier, right?
I think he did 9, right?
Justin Lin.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think
F9 was
They're all
Lin.
So this is okay. They're running together.
I mean, it
for
looks
me.
pretty bad. Not gonna lie. Even by like fast standards, I'm like, oh man, this is insane, but this will be fun. I don't know. I'm not that amped.
I've been on
Now
a,
there's like 4 more too. They just keep extending this. 10
Yeah.
into more.
yeah.
It's,
I've been on a
you know,
binge lately.
We need to
I
humble
watched-
Vin again. Let Vin earn us back. He will.
That's true.
You know, but
That's
Vin,
true.
just giving Vin the world, bad idea.
Yeah. No, I think I'm with you.
If either of Vin's other properties, Triple X or Riddick, were decent, he would be so out on this. But this is like
Yeah.
the only thing he has that's relevant.
He is Dom, yeah. I mean, it'll be fine. I'll chuckle a few times at Ludacris and Tyrese. By the way, Ludacris at the end of the Mountain Gods Casino in Ruidoso, New Mexico next week. If you guys are in, let's roll. But yeah, I mean, and I'll be thrilled by a few of the stunts, but it also like the stunts on at least in the trailer. I mean, they're always absurd, but these look like bad CG more than like. There's always something kind of fun
Hope
about a
not.
fast stunt. Even though I knew it was fake,
Yeah.
it was like it got the sound of it or something was right. It's changed.
Mhm.
Lettier is not that guy. You know the guy in the grocery store about to fight the other guy? You're not that guy, man.
Yeah.
You're not.
That's true. That's true. Maybe the spinny camera works for all these stunts. I don't know.
If you
I
told me it was 2 hours and they never dropped the spinning cam bit, I'd be more in. Like lean into what you do, Louis. Say we're going full CGI cam or GPS spinny cam. I'd be like, all right, let's hear it out. But
I mean, it's not only the spinny cam, the editing in his movies is
yeah,
just
exactly.
so
that's- this just-
spastic.
Killer. That's true.
This feels
That's the worst
like
part.
Fast 2. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Like
Yeah.
a sequel to the second Fast, which is fine, you know. That one part where Paul Walker says "cuh" is pretty cool, but you know, not really on the what. I feel like I'm Martin Scorsese here. They might be fine, but they're not cinema. Fast 5 is cinema. Fast 6 on that runway, that was cinema.
Pulling a
There's
safe through Rio, that's cinema.
See you
nothing
again in Fast 7, that's cinema.
That's where it should have
That should-
ended, to be honest. I mean,
I watched 4, 5, and 6 on yesterday, like back to back to back.
Wow, what a life.
What a time, man! Like, it got me hyped. Because I'm with you. You're totally all of these points are totally right. F9's the worst of the new franchise, at least. The Lettier of it all. All of these things, the Momoa of it all. Ugh.
Yeah.
All of these things, you're totally right.
He actually is the best part of the trailer, though. I
Yeah.
will say.
I watched 4, 5, and 6, and was like, I'm back. I can't wait. I'm pumped for the insanity that is to come. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, we've definitely we it's peaked. We went to space with the last one. I don't know. I think we probably can't do any better than what we've done at this point, and we're just kind of running out of gas, as it were. But I'll keep going for sure. Definitely not anticipating it the way I am Indy and and Mission Impossible for sure.
Do you want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere, and even earn money all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup's like, you can start creating today. Then, you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. And video podcasts are also available on Spotify. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since we started using Spotify for Podcasters on Mad About Movies, it's made it super easy to get our show posted and out to all of the Man Fam. We highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. All right, great round of movie news, rumors, rumblings, fellas. Let's hit a quick weekly recommend before we get out of here.
Weekly recommends.
What you got for us this week, Brian?
Recommend a show that is in its 5th and final season. About 7 episodes, I think, into a 10-episode season. It's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon Prime. And I love it. I love this show. I love Rachel Brosnahan. Love Alex Bornstein. I love it so much that even Tony Shalhoub can't ruin it.
Are you anti-Shalhoub too, or is that just me?
You talked me into it. I think I was like, I don't like Monk, and I don't. I hate Monk. And then the more that you talked about your blood feud with Tony Shalhoub, I was like, maybe I don't like Tony Shalhoub. And,
man, talk about Fast and Furious. That's family right there, man.
That is. We support each other around here.
So, question: Are you current on the series without spoiling anything? Are you current?
I believe I am. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm not. So don't worry about me spoiling anything. But does it do the Amy Sherman Palladino thing where she grows to hate her lead character and ruins their lives at the end, like she does with all the other shows? Or I don't think so. Is it turning out okay?
No, this season is doing a occasional flash forward thing, which is a risky play. But
I heard about that. I was like, oh no, this is.
But to this point, I think it actually.
She's doing
the only episode
on
that has
Seinfeld.
Been. Say that again.
She's doing stand up on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
The only episode that has been fully flash forward was maybe my favorite of the season. So it's been
good.
It's been done really well.
Because she did Rory Gilmore pretty dirty as the seasons went on in that show, especially when the the new one came out. The 4 seasons thing, and then she did the best friend badly. I mean, she just kind of it seems like her thing is to get bored of these characters and then ruin their lives.
Yeah.
So I'm glad because I love Midge and I don't want that to happen. So.
For sure. No, it hasn't felt like that way at all. So I've really dug this season. This, like I said, this was the last season.
Watch the last episode. She murders her.
Yeah. She's like, actually, just want to remind you guys, I suck. Yeah. But,
cancels her for
great
some
character
awful stuff. Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. But a couple of great characters in this, and and
Shalhoub's really good on that show, by the way.
Yes.
I'm a magnanimous kind of. I respect my enemies.
They have Shalhoub and Kevin Pollak, and I still love the show.
Yeah, I really don't like Kevin Pollak either. You ever listen to his? He was one of the early podcasters. It's not on anymore.
Yeah, I listened to it a little back in the day. I was like, I don't.
It was like a go-to interview show because he'd have people. He'd have Bill Hader on for 3 hours, and it was like. There's nothing I love more than a long interview with people I love, and I just still couldn't do it. Be like, I'm going through your dossier here. I always refer to their dossier.
Ugh, I don't like that word.
Yeah.
So,
and then he'd pull the Dana Carvey bit, but funnier, but still not funny, where he'd just go into Peter Falk for 20 minutes of the interview. And you're like, okay,
right?
Cool trick.
Everyone wants. Yeah, over and over and over again. Yeah, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, season 5, Amazon Prime. Check it out. It's great. Love it. Love her. She's a star. Make her a star.
Yeah, she hasn't. The Amazon curse seems to be real. Where a lot of people watch those shows, but those shows don't bounce as much as people off of Netflix shows.
She is,
but she's so great.
She is perfect. She is perfect for this role and this era. too, and I
She's good.
wonder.
She was
if
great
that-
in House of Cards too, though.
She was. I wonder if when you see her in that character in these beautiful dresses on the stage and all that kind of stuff, I wonder if it's hard to envision her, if you're casting something, if it's hard to envision her in something else. Like, I worry that she is kind of getting typecast because of how great she is in this role and how great she looks. And she's a beautiful woman. I don't mean that just as like she's beautiful. She looks like she fits in that era so well that I wonder if it's hard to find other spots where you're like, yeah, I bet
the John
really
Hamm issue. But
yeah,
like,
sure.
He got at least got a lot of swings. I would like to see her get some swings
for sure. Yeah. She's awesome. She's the best.
She's up for the Lois Lane role apparently in the new Superman.
That'd be cool, depending on who Superman is. Because by the way, I saw the first two guys they're looking at for Superman. Most boring looking white dudes I've ever seen in my life.
It seemed like they're just like, if you look like Superman, you're in. That's not what we need, guys. That's never worked.
Don't. I would just like to see one good Superman at some point in my life. That's all. It seems like that shouldn't be that difficult.
I'm rooting for chaos, so I want him to cast Dwight.
I'd like to be able to anticipate some of these movies and not get hate mail. That would be cool. But gosh, she would be a great Lois Lane. I could definitely see that. I support this.
It's a no-brainer.
Strongly. She's magnificent. Alex Bornstein's so good too.
Yeah.
In that role. I mean,
has she won anything for that? I don't know.
I was about to look at that. I kind of.
Yes, she has. She's won a couple Emmys, I think.
She deserves it. She's
won like the last 2 years, I believe.
She's incredible. She's incredible in that role. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, she's quite talented. Mad TV days, she was awesome. OG Alex Bornstein.
No Will Sasso, but okay. Take your word for it.
No Aries Spears. All right, we'll move on. What you got, Richard, for recommend this week?
I've been in a little bit of a culture void with work and things last week, but I have been listening to that new national record. So I'll go with that. I'll go with the first 2 pages of Frankenstein. I like it. There's a couple songs I don't love as much, but for the most part, I think it's a pretty good indie rock album. So I'm going to go with it.
Nice. There you go. A little music recommend for you. Mine's music related.
Music of Jace.
Music of Jace. I think you'd like this, Richard. It's the new Muppet series, The Muppets Mayhem.
Yeah.
And it's just a series about the Electric Mayhem, the band. And it's got Lily Singh, so if you can bear that, you'll be fine. She's the main star, but Durs pops up in it.
Durs.
And it's also got Taj Mowry of Smart Guy fame. Hadn't seen Taj Mowry in literally 25 years, so
last
he's
time
a big part of this.
Wasn't he running back at like USC the last time?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds about right.
He was like a college football player. Did you see the Paramount Plus canceled the Workaholics movie? Bummer.
They did, but apparently they're allowed to shop it around. So hopefully it still comes out.
Let's do it. Cheez-Its Plus.
Yeah.
Chicken soup for the soul.
Yeah.
I mean, these days, does it really matter who comes out with it? I think it's fine if it's not on Paramount. It's just I find it odd that they wouldn't want to reboot that in some way. That seems like it would.
I saw Devine talk about it, and he said it was
they could only have it in America or something.
Yeah, it was like part of a
worldwide
global
appeal. Yeah.
Yeah, they pivoted to only global stuff. And so that was the reasoning.
I guess it makes sense, but man, we need comedy. I just wish there were executives that were just comedy fans. I'm like, guys, we need funny stuff.
But he's like only stand up. It seems like.
Yeah.
So he was just like, if you have 20 minutes, at your local Chuckle Shack, you get $6 million to make a special. Whether or not you're funny is fine, but but comedy movies and comedy, kind of sketch related stuff kind of gets left out, it seems like. But yeah, great time to be a stand up. You get a special.
This is great because it a lot of music in it. A lot of like cover songs, Muppet
Nice.
cover songs are good. And you never really see the Electric Mayhem featured, so it's good to see the personalities of them. I think Floyd Pepper is one of my favorite characters of all time. He's so good. Dr. Teeth.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Teeth's great.
All right,
And
check that out
Best.
on the D+, Muppets Mayhem, if you enjoyed Muppets content. All right, there you go. There's Weekly Recommends, some rumblings in news for you. We'll be back next week. What do we got? Something big called Fast X coming out. So stay tuned for that.
Plastics. Sounds like a pharmaceutical.
So the next one's just going to be Fast X2, right? Probably. And then Fast
Yeah, but
X3,
That's
like
where
Fast 13.
Fast X2 is where they're going to finally introduce the X-Men. We all think it's coming Marvel, but
Well,
nope.
Fast X3 is when Vin
Keep you on your
or
toes.
Dom just transforms into Triple X. And they
Yeah.
go,
That and Kelsey Grammer's the Beast in that one too.
you don't know me. You're about to. All right. We love you. We'll see you next week talking Fast X. At the
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling, tossed salads and scrambled eggs. And maybe I seem a bit confused. Yeah, maybe, but I got you pegged. But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again. Scrambled eggs all over my face.
They're making me yah-yah.